and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. In today's video, I am reflecting on April and planning for May. I'll be tracking everything through Notion for more long-term planning. I do have a free template down below in the link in my bio if you want to plan along with me. For more day-to-day short-term planning, I'll be setting up my May bullet journal, and then I'll also be setting up my monthly budget as a guide for May. Let's go ahead and jump into April reflection and May planning. I'll mention some monthly favorites as well. And I don't know about you, but April flew by so fast. So in the comments down below, please let me know what your highlight of April was. Before we get into April reflection, I just want to really quickly look at my yearly goals. And I hit one of my yearly goals. I hit 200 subscribers, and I know that that's a very tiny victory, but I do just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported me and my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in every week, and I just feel so lucky to have this little internet community, and I'm so excited to see where it goes from here. So on my yearly goals, I updated this from 200 to 500. So now I am hoping to reach 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So that's 250 by July, and then another 250 by December. Thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in every week. And I feel so grateful. So thank you so much. Now on April monthly reflection, and my first goal that I put was to finish the books in my Neapolitan series. This is the My Brilliant Friend series by Elena Ferrante. And at the time that I recorded my April plan with me video, I had just started the last book, and then I ended up finishing it the last day of March. I'm still taking it off as an April accomplishment, so I finished that goal. Then I also put less time on social media, specifically Instagram and Twitter, and I do feel like I did a better job of that. I actually got really into the New York Times puzzle games, specifically Connections and Wordle, and I do think that that got me out of the morning scrolling, because I was doing morning puzzles instead, and they're really hard, and I think that they're also just a fun thing to kind of do with a buddy, or just have someone that you can check in on it with. It just felt very social to me instead of it just being this independent puzzle game. I want to keep going with those, but I also want to keep challenging myself on spending less time on social media. There was a couple days this month where I had a long day at work and I came home and I just rotted on the couch and just scrolled for a couple of hours, and honestly it made me feel awful. So I don't want to do that again, but I know it's gonna happen. It's inevitable, and sometimes you need those rotting on the couch days. But I think that the New York Times games have really helped me set up my morning well, so that in the afternoon I don't really want to gravitate towards social media rot. And then I also put plan YouTube content for May. That's something I do every month. Wanted to journal at least once a week. Honestly, it just made me feel so good, and it got so many thoughts out, and it was a very cathartic experience. And then fitness and health, go on one run this month, and I'm filming this early. It is still April as I'm filming this. I will post an update if I did this run. It's not over yet. There's still time this week for me to do this. And then career, I put build relationship with current leader. If you know, you've been watching me for a bit, my company's going through rolling layoffs. I'm a senior administrative assistant in my 9-to-5 job. So my job is communicating with executive level leadership. And I don't know if I'm with this person long-term or if I'm with them short-term. My goal is to just, build that relationship, have an advocate, whether I stay with them or not. A much longer-term goal and difficult to measure, but we're working towards it. I'm just gonna leave it as is for now. And then I also wanted to set up with a meeting with one of the product managers for a professional development meeting, and I did that, and it was great. I think I learned a lot from that. And then other was taxes, which is inevitable. We have to do our taxes, right? It's an overall thought dump to describe this month. I felt really restless with work. There was a lot of doom and gloom waiting for these layoffs to happen. But I also have found a newfound energy with the sun going down later. It's about 4:30 right now, and it's just peak sunlight. and I'm just loving it. After work, I just feel like I have so much more energy and I feel so rejuvenated. And then memorable moments. There was this one random day that one of my friends and we were hanging out and we're like, just go to a park. But we were just sitting in the park talking. This was with Celine. And it was just so nice. I don't know why, but I kind of love being out at night like that because it's so out of my comfort zone, and I felt so safe because I was with a friend, and it just kind of felt like a summer night. And then I went on a hike with Luke. I went to a Thorns game, and I saw one of my college friends, and I haven't seen her play yet, but I'm seeing that next weekend, which will still be this month, but she's amazing. I know I'm gonna enjoy it. And then I also had a friend's monthly bar crawl too, which will be really fun. Some of those events haven't happened yet, specifically the last two, but I'm including them here because it's gonna be really good company, and I just know that it's gonna be a highlight. Something I learned is that I really enjoy doing the New York Times crossword puzzles, and then I also named my inner critic. And I know that's kind of random, but I am so hard on myself, and I think that having YouTube as a hobby and being a content creator on the side, like I'm not getting paid to do this, I just do it because I like it. It's really easy being hard on yourself, and I think that my brain naturally already goes there, but then to also have this as a hobby that I enjoy doing, it just makes it really easy for negative self-talk to come through. I decided that I was gonna name that voice and keep that to myself and keep that private, but I actually think it's really helped. So if you're someone who has a strong negative self-talk voice in their head, I would maybe name that voice, and I would maybe suggest naming it a name where you know nobody else that has that name. I thought that made it a little easier for me. Try that out. Let me know what you think. I want to improve on. I still want to improve on less screen time. And then I want to take more advantage of the sunny days that we're getting. I'm hitting a wall where it's like, oh, I want to be inside because I'm really tired, but I also feel some pressure to be doing something because it's so sunny out. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I just want to take more advantage of them, even if that means just sitting on my apartment complex's rooftop for like 15 minutes and just soaking it in. Like, that's what I want to do. That's April. Overall, I feel good about this month. It just honestly feels like it went by so fast. Before we get into my monthly goals, I want to go over some new things that I added to my Notion. The first one, this health overview. And I'm someone who has an autoimmune disease, and so I get sick easily. And having a place where I can kind of easily track all the things that are happening with my brain and my body is kind of nice. And I'm curious if I'll use this and how often I'll use it, but basically in the table, I would name the thing that I'm having. So maybe it's a stomach ache, and then I would tag it, which could probably fit into my autoimmune disease symptoms, and then the date that I started that, and then any information I want to put over here, I would do that. And then down below is any services I've had, so any doctor's appointments that I've had where I want to kind of just keep track of the main takeaways. I hope that this is something I'm going to be using, and if not, that's okay, but let me know what you think about this. Going back here, my habit tracker, there was definitely a couple days that I missed. Seemed like I spent a lot this month. I noticed in April, there was a lot of weekly grocery runs, and so I think that kind of contributed to that. Next, I want to go into books, TV, and film. I added that series that I ended up finishing. I added that here and I rated them. And the last book was definitely the best book in the series. And the first one is really hard to get into and really hard to read. So I gave that one 2 stars, the second book and the third book 3, and then the last book I gave it 4. And then I think by the time this video comes out, I'll probably finish this book. This is called Almond, and it's really short. I'm a little more than halfway through it now, so I'll probably be done with it by the time this video's out, but I'll keep you updated. Monthly favorites. I added a place. I added Providence Park, and I've been going to a lot of Thorns games. If you don't know, that's Portland's women's soccer team, and they are so good. They're so fun to watch. I played soccer in middle school and I was awful, but it's so fun going to a game, and it's a really nice size stadium. It's not too big, it's not too small. It is also kind of outdoors, so you feel like you're outdoors, but it's just a really nice way to feel connected to the community. I've really liked going to them and I want to go to more. That's my monthly favorites. This video goes on, I'm turning more and more this way to avoid the direct sunlight. So if you see that happening, it's because the sun is like right here. All right, let's talk May monthly goals. So first, I am still wanting to continue on with my less time on social media. And then I also want to make journaling part of my weekly routine. I did a really good job of that last month. And I think that of all the self-care things I did for myself, that one by far went the farthest in terms of my mental health. I definitely noticed that, and that's something that I want to keep doing and just make a weekly habit. Good things, bad things, I want to have them all be in that journal. And then next is that I want to make a new recipe. I think I've been kind of in a recipe rut lately, and I really do enjoy cooking and baking. I'm excited to see what I do. I'll make sure that I record or take a photo or something for next month to see if I actually follow through with that. And then lastly, under personal is plan YouTube content for June. That's pretty self-explanatory. And then fitness and health, I'm keeping this here 1 run a month. Maybe I'll up it to 2 if I am able to do a run in April, so TBD. And then career, I'm just keeping this as is. And then lastly, under other, Luke and I have some travel coming up and we just need to confirm our dates and book flights. And before I get into monthly budget, I just want to first mention that this is supposed to be a guide for the month. It's not actually what my month ends up looking like. It's more a moment for me to reflect on what expenses am I anticipating this month. For example, in May, it's my sister's birthday and I know I'm gonna wanna get her something. So I know that going into May, I'm gonna be spending a little bit of money on my sister. It's more of just a guide on what the month is gonna look like. It almost never looks how it does here, so please be mindful of that. But it's also a little vulnerable sharing this on the internet, so please be kind. If you're new here, I'll just walk you through how I do this. So I go to Google Sheets, I go to from a template, I hit monthly budget, and then from here I just get rid of all the stuff that I am not gonna be using. I don't use these, I don't use that, and I don't use this. And I'm just going to kind of get it back to its starting point and then delete these rows. There we go. And then I'm going to change this font. I want it to be something different. I want to change this font so that it all looks a little bit better. There we go. I also want to change these. And the way that you do that is you take this hex code here and you just change it to what you want it to be. So I want it to be, I think it's a blue color, and there we go. And I'm gonna do that with this one too. And then I'm gonna do the bottom one, this gold color. You can also go up here and update it as well. Perfect. And then since I've done this many times before, I'm just gonna copy and paste from my previous times that I've done this, and I don't use those. And I also want this to be a different color. I want it to be like a really light gray. And I think I had to go here and do that. Yeah, so there's that row, and there we go. And then I'll do that here as well. That is where we're at. And then I'm just gonna go in here and add certain things that I'm expecting. So I'm just gonna change this number, and this would be in the rent category. And then I'm gonna copy and paste some of my other expenses that are pretty normal. And then I'm going to copy and paste these here. And then from a perspective of what can I expect in the month of May, it's my sister's birthday. Rachel, I know you're not watching this, but look away. I'm gonna put that in guilt-free. That's how I set up my monthly budget. Over here on the income side is where you can add your income. I find that this works really well for me. I know that there is kind of a learning curve. I think that this is a really good jumping off point if you're looking into setting a budget for yourself or just kind of a guide on what's expected in the coming month. If you're someone who's really into budgeting, I'd love to know what you use to track everything, but that is our monthly budget. And if you're new here, I take a very simple bullet journaling approach. I always start with writing out all the days of the month, and then I draw a little picture as my theme. This month's theme is gonna be a May picnic. As we get into spring, I just want to sit on the grass and have a picnic with some good company. And then each page pretty much has the same thing. And then I finalize with just a couple weekly questions to go over the week and plan for next week. And that is my first spread for the first week of May.